Howdy friends, and welcome to Plumbing 360, the show where I answer questions from you, the viewer, as well as commonly asked questions I get from my customers. Okay, so this is how it works. Plumbing 360, here in the comfort of my Central Florida home studio, I get a chance to look at you right in the camera and answer some of these questions that you guys have been giving me, as well as maybe comment back, and you get to actually see me react to it instead of me just type in something to you, as well as a lot of commonly asked questions I get from my customers. And feel free at the end of the show, leave me some comments and stuff, and maybe some other questions, and I'll try to field that on our next episode and everything. I've got the desktop pulled up, I've got the Plumbing with Tim channel pulled up, and I've got your comments pulled up and questions and stuff. So let's go ahead and take a look and get started. Let's get started. I have queued up the comments here on the Plumbing with Tim channel, and I have a question that came in on one of my videos I put out about a month ago on how to install a thermal expansion tank on a water heater. A couple different things. First of all, a PO CKM says no check valve, no purpose of an expansion tank. Otherwise, excessive water pressure created by thermal expansion going to be pushed back into the city water line. Tanks needs to be prepared, pressured up according to water pressure to the building, usually about 55 psi. Always use copper CPVC line over PVC on temperature and pressure release valve. Hot water can melt PVC line. That's a good point. I guess when it comes down to it, in an extreme case, in my opinion, yeah, I guess I guess when it comes down to it, it's all got to do with codes and municipality in your local area and stuff. Some areas require you to have a check valve automatically. It's part of code, and then an expansion tank and stuff like that. Well, here in Central Florida, we're not required to do so. We do have our PSI of about 50 to 60 pounds coming in from the city. It draws a good point and stuff, and I can see where it could make some sense. I generally see when stuff like that happens, it's another thing that might fail. Now, the only time I actually see that happen is if I'm in a high-rise building. Some of the codes, like beachside and stuff, may end up calling for that. Now, here's another rebuttal back to you. What if you're a plumber and you're going out to do a water heater and all that other stuff, and you got your expansion tank, but whoa, you run into a water heater that's stuck up in a closet underneath an air conditioning unit, and there's nowhere to put an expansion tank, but you still want to protect that. Well, this is the alternative to what I do when I can't put an expansion tank in due to lack of space. I go ahead and get pressure down the system and stuff. I remove the factory TP valve, the pressure release valve, and in this place I put a little check valve. It's kind of a check valve, but it is a relief valve. Now, a regular relief valve, pressure release valve on a water heater is generally rated to pop open and release that pressure at around 150 psi. This little guy right here is rated to pop open at 100 psi. All right, you would take and unscrew the old pressure release valve and screw this one in. Now, if you can't get it in there because it's not long enough, you can put an extension on there with a galvanized nipple. Water comes out of the water heater and then blows off into your line, either into your pan or outside or somewhere like that. So that's your alternative to an expansion tank. I don't believe that they work as well, but they actually add a little bit of safety value when it comes to it. Remember, expansion tank isn't just to protect your water heater. It's also to protect, like, how about your hoses going to your washing machine and stuff like that. Those things aren't designed to expand and go back down. Expand, go back down. How about all the little washers and seats and seals you got on your faucets inside your home and stuff like that? You know, expansion is expansion, and hot water can mix into cold water depending on how your home was piped and stuff. And after a while, that can cause unwanted, unnecessary pressure on some of these precious little seals, and after a while you got a faucet that's beginning to drip like that. So, great question. I don't have all the answers, but that's how I come back about answering you to that. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so this is a good one, and I kind of got a kick out of it, and I got called out on the table about this. This is a video I put out well over a year ago. It was about plumbing safety tips part 2. and you know, still cut my teeth on these video things and everything. And I actually, you know, I haven't seen anybody put any kind of comments on things like this, but somebody saw this video and they called me out, and you know, I'm here to eat crow, so to speak. It came in from a Chisholm Safety, a safety channel of all that. It started off by saying, LOL, a safety video that the first thing you see is an angle grinder with a safety guard removed. You got me on that one, okay? So, yes, if you're like in the line of work I am, I end up finding myself using an angle grinder to cut cast iron and old metal and stuff out and everything like that. By all means, leave the safety guard on. That's what it's there for. It's safety to protect against something popping off, or, you know, the blade catching and jumping back on you and stuff like that. At the time I shot the video, I didn't realize I didn't pick it up. Some of us plumbers have been doing this for quite a while. We tend to bend the rules a little bit here and there, and I'm guilty. I've run an angle grinder without a safety guard on there. It's not the safest practice, but I've been doing it a long time, and you know, it can come back to bite me someday. Hopefully not. But there's a lot of areas, especially in tight areas, I've got to get in with that angle grinder. And if I have the safety guard on there, I just can't reach it into there. So thanks for calling me out there, Mr. Chisholm Safety. And thanks for bringing us all the awareness of keeping safe. Like I always say, safety first. Thanks. All right, so let's just scroll down here a little bit and take a look at a couple things. Now, if you guys have been following my channel, you can see I've progressed throughout the last year or so and everything like that. And believe it or not, some of my best performing videos are some of my worst. So I look back at them, it's kind of cringe-worthy and stuff. And, you know, but they did well for some reason, and they got thousands of views. You know, I got this one with 5 super cool plumbing tricks. That one just took off over a year ago and really kind of put me on the map of things. And I'm still getting comments on there. And guys like, what an amateur. And the next comment is, great video. So, you know, you're going to get the good, you're going to get the bad, and I take it all with a grain of salt because, you know, I've got a tough back to me and stuff, and I don't ever portray to be perfect or know everything. I am a professional plumber, and the tips and tricks that I try to show you and taking you along to work, that's my everyday. That's what I do. And if I'm doing something wrong, feel free to let me know, and I'll be glad to try to correct that anyway. And moving on to some more videos and stuff and comments, I get somebody that puts a comment on one of my videos that says, "You're a creep." Okay, well, like I said, you can't please everybody. Appreciate it anyways. Here is another question. This came in from one of my better videos I put out about 6 months ago on how to replace a pop-up drain assembly. It came from a Scott Bickhouse. Tim, got a question for you. I purchased a new ball rod assembly and a new chrome pop-up stopper for my existing bathroom sink. The new pop-up stopper is exactly the same length as the old one that I'm replacing. The issue I'm having now is that the pop-up stopper doesn't seem to be long enough, so the rod can't get into the hole on the stopper. Seems like it should work, but it's not. Any suggestions? P.S. Forgot to mention how great your segments are. Keep up the great work. I replied to Scott saying, did you buy the assembly all together? Try spinning the stopper around. Is it offset? It may not be lining up. He says, thanks Tim, I tried it but no luck. I originally just purchased a new rod and stopper, ended up going back, purchasing the whole kit, and that worked. Just a little more expensive to buy the kit, so I should have done that in the first place. Thanks for getting back to me. Thank you for sharing. So, you know, when it comes down to things, and I'm going to reiterate on these things, some of these videos I put out and everything like that, and I should probably disclaimer on things. When you're replacing something, don't cheap out and get something like you found at a yard sale or maybe down here at the Harbor Freight or something like that. If you know what you have going on and it's a problem, first thing you want to do, and this is 2019, take a picture of it, take some measurements. If you can, unassemble it and take it with you to your local plumbing supplier or something like that, and get something that is going to work for you. You know, you can't come in and just say, you know, I have this going on, and the guys are going to kind of like, well, I really don't know exactly what you have. Most pop-up drain assemblies are pretty much universal, but then you end up getting into some other things. You know, people put vessel sinks in, and those are a whole different story. But your best bet and your most success you're going to get out of replacing parts and doing things yourself is to make sure that you bring yourself armed with knowledge and information as much as you can about the assembly or the part or the fixture that you're looking to replace when you're going down to see the plumbing supply guy or at Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that. That way they can see, okay, that's what you got, this is what you need to put in there. And it's going to save you a lot of headache and a lot of time. I know a lot of you guys out there, you know, the cost of us plumbers is outrageous. But you know what? We're skilled tradesmen. And you're not paying just me to come out and show up to my house, to your house. You're paying for me to do something professionally and my knowledge of what I'm doing. So it doesn't always pay to try to do stuff ahead of the fact without making some research or even checking out a YouTube channel. There's lots of good plumbers that are out there. Do a little research and take the time, and it can save you a big headache and maybe some money down the road. And it isn't always the wrong thing to do to call a licensed plumber and have them come out if you're just not quite sure. Thanks so much, Scott. Time for one more thing here, and then we're going to wrap up this little podcast of Plumbing 360. One thing I really wanted to iterate that's really great about having this Plumbing with Tim channel is I get so many questions from different people, plus comments, or you're a creep, or great job, Tim, love your videos and stuff. You get a little bit of everything. But it's also the fact that there's other people out there, other plumbers. If I can't get to a comment or I don't have an immediate answer, there's other guys that are great and they are eager to jump in there and to actually interact with these questions with these other people. It's a community here, and I highly encourage everybody to do that. If you see me maybe not get a chance to come back and comment to something, it's probably because it's something that I'm not really familiar with. You know, we're all human here. And one of the guys that I really want to give a big shout out to is a Mr. Ken Barrett. Ken, I see you on all my videos, and I don't only have a plumbing video, I've got outdoor channels here on YouTube and stuff, and we'll talk about that in another time. But here in particular, I had a video I put out, it's about a year ago, well pump not priming, here's what to look for, and I had a guy ask me this big question about a submersible pump, and I never got back to him and stuff, probably because I was busy or something. But Ken Barrett, he jumped right in there, he answered the question, and everybody was happy. Ken, you're a great guy. I really, really, really appreciate your support, your friendship, and everything that you have to do with coming onto my channels and helping me out and stuff. So once again, thank you very much. And the rest of you guys out there that put up with a bunch of my BS and all that other stuff, I try my best. I'm a very hard-working, busy guy, and I don't get a lot of time. But it is a commitment to have this plumbing channel and, you know, have a family and work and life and all that other stuff. But I'm committed to trying to bring you the best quality and the best ideas and the best answers and solutions when it comes to plumbing, because plumbing isn't cheap. So thanks so much. Well, hey, that's all the time we got for today here on Plumbing 360, right here on Plumbing with Tim. I really enjoy being able to interact with y'all. Here within the next month or two, I'm going to get my system formatted when I get some time and I'm not so lazy after work. And we're going to start doing some live chats and stuff. And it's still going to be Plumbing 360, but it's going to be more in a live application where you guys, you know how the live streams work and stuff. I'm going to be live streaming. You guys can come on and live chat with me, and we can be face-to-face in real time and stuff like that. But in the meantime, this little podcast I like putting together and have a chance once in a while to actually sit down and look at you right in the camera and answer some of these questions to the best of my ability and stuff like that. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out with me and listening to me blab. Until next time, it's been Plumbing with Tim. Keep plumbing.